I don't want to say when it's going to get back to normal, you know what I mean? And it's sort of sad to see, with all these closures and people maybe sort of missing work and all these other problems that it's causing, but still I see people seem to be happy-go-lucky. Luck of the Irish, luck of the Irish.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in downtown Toronto. Well, folks, welcome to the new abnormal in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. Earlier, Doug Ford declared a state of emergency in Ontario. And last night, the city of Toronto probably issued a death blow to many restaurants in Toronto. Namely, there is no more sit-down service allowed. In fact, it could be fined by as much as $25,000 a day if restaurants don't comply. And I can tell you there is such an eerie vibe in the city today, folks. It doesn't feel like a Tuesday afternoon just before rush hour. Rather, it feels like a lazy Sunday. The city's not deserted, but it's nowhere as busy as it should be. And Exhibit A is this eatery right behind me, Uncle Tetsu's Japanese cheesecake. Now, I can tell you folks, I don't think I've ever driven down Bay Street and not seen a line to get in and get some of their delicious cheesecake. There is not a single person to be seen. And similarly, on the other side of Bay Street, here is the flagship restaurant for Red Lobster. It seats at least 200 people. I peeked in the window. Every single booth and chair is out of commission, and it is St. Patrick's Day of all days. This is I believe St. Patrick's Day is the biggest day in the food service business. Usually people check out of work around noon and they eat and drink until the wee hours of the morning, but that certainly is not the case right now. So I'm going to wander around downtown Toronto and just see how things have changed during this state of emergency. Is there a different feel to this St. Patrick's Day in the big city today, sir?
Oh yeah, I'd say a lot of things are closed down. Look at the restaurants; it's all takeout. You know what I mean? It's some of these businesses are closed down, and it's sad. I think we're going to go into a depression, a recession. I say, with all these businesses shutting down and all the problems it's causing. Well, let's hope it ends. Let's hope this pandemic ends soon. You know what I mean?
How have you been personally affected by the pandemic measures?
Very personally affected. I lost a lot of shifts, a lot of work that I should be at right now. People are being weird to each other.
Oh, is that right? In what manner?
Well, I just heard a lady saying that she was born in Canada, but because she's Asian, someone accosted her, someone attacked her, someone was rude to her, just because, right? I mean, she's born here, but just because people are starting to get real paranoid about close quarters.
I've seen you breakdancing here many times, sir, and there's usually a big crowd. Here we are, yonge-dundas, St. Patrick's Day. Totally different vibe in the city, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you're right. St. Patrick's is normally busy, and because of this virus, people are, I guess, freaking out and doing what the Prime Minister said to stay home, and all these stores are getting are closed. And
yeah, I don't know if it's an overreaction, but I think they're doing what they can to, make people safe and doing the right things. So we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm outside. They say walk around, just keep your distance from people, whatever. So I'm not gonna it's not gonna stop me, but I am definitely carrying around a bottle of alcohol.
Well, it is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot all about that, and I'm actually Irish. But no, it's just been crazy.
Well, there's been a lot of cases in Toronto and Ontario, and the Prime Minister Trudeau. I'm pro Trudeau a bit. He's had some bad luck with the pipelines and stuff, but he just said that he's banning all outside travelers.
From what I've been seeing, so many people are dying per day. So I think, in a way, they're reacting properly. But in a way, because of everything being closed down, I think that's half overreaction, half not overreaction.
I don't know that it's overreacting. I mean, steps have to be taken. She's right. But to shut down the entire industry, coming out of the railroads being shut down by the native people, but suddenly they're like, oh, okay, now everyone's getting shut down. I think it's kind of like they weren't looking forward. They weren't really understanding what was happening then and what's happening now.
How would you describe the mood in the city right now?
I think it's really down. Like, I mean, look, yonge-dundas Square, there's nobody in there. There's usually a bunch of people milling.
Isn't that surreal? The whole square is empty. It should be bustling on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, you'd think so. But, you know, they don't sell booze in yonge-dundas Square, so no one's having a Guinness or anything.
I don't want to say when it's going to get back to normal, you know what I mean? And it's sort of sad to see, you know, with all these closures and people maybe sort of missing work and all these other problems that it's causing, you know, but still I see people seem to be happy-go-lucky. Luck of the Irish.
Yet more signs of the times in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm at yonge-dundas Square, and it may look like there's a lot of foot traffic, but believe me, this is probably less than 10% of what you'd normally see here, especially on St. Patrick's Day. I mean, even the guy handing out free corons is AWOL, so you know this thing must be serious. Well, folks, I'm now inside the Toronto Eden Centre, and I am having a Charlton Heston Omega Man moment here. It is absolutely deserted. It is shut down. It seems that all the retailers are closed at least until the end of March. I wonder if they'll reopen in the beginning of April. But it is yet another incredible sight to see, given that I don't think this mall even closes on statutory holidays. Well, folks, I'm in the Eden Centre food court, and while there is food here, what there isn't is tables and chairs. They've all been packed away, and where there would normally be patrons eating, there are crews with sanitizers and other cleansing elements that are giving the food court a scrub. Well, folks, I can tell you, after spending a few hours walking the streets of downtown Toronto, this is a downright eerie experience. It certainly doesn't feel like a St. Patrick's Day on a weekday. I mean, the city's not a ghost town, but it's a mere shadow of itself thanks to the store closures and restaurants not catering to seated clientele, and the number of people who are obviously in self-quarantine. The question arises, what can be done about it? Well, I don't think anything except heed the advice of that sign behind me, which says keep calm and carry on. Indeed, that's all we can do right now, isn't it? Plan for the worst and hope for the best, and hope that this new normal is one day soon replaced by the old normal. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, unlike the members of the media party, Rebel News doesn't receive a single nickel of taxpayer dollars, nor would we accept such a handout if it were offered. We depend on the donations from you, our viewers, to keep Rebel telling the other side of the story. So if you can indeed donate, please visit rebelnews.com/donate. That's rebelnews.com/donate, and kick in $1 or $3 so that Rebel can continue to bring you the kind of investigative journalism you deserve.